and I'm admitting everybody. Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, everyone. So as you can see, this is a meeting, which means that feel free to turn on your camera now or later if you want to ask a question. If you don't want to turn on your camera, you're not comfortable, that's perfectly okay. You do whatever you feel like. I thought it was fun to do a meeting because it's a bit friendlier. You get to talk to me, you get to talk to Veruska. So, feel free to do as you wish. And for the questions, it will be the same. Turn on your camera if you feel like, don't, and I will read your questions, right? It's still early, so I'm like starting very, very slowly while I'm admitting people in the room. I see that step by step people are joining. So I'm like busy clicking, admit. And yeah, so that's why I'm checking here like, oh, someone to admit or not. Okay. And it's fun. I see that do we have people who are here for the first time or not? I'm not sure. Can you say hi if you are here, like in the chat, if you are here for the first time? Because there are a couple of you that I know already, and I'm lucky to welcome often. No, nobody. Does everybody knows me? And does, first time, yay! Excellent. All right. Okay. All right. So what I'll do is that I'm going to introduce what is SEO Nerd Switzerland while I'm still busy accepting people who are coming to the meeting. Oh yeah, I see lots of clicks. Right. If you are just arriving, you can see that this is a meeting. You are free to turn on your camera if you feel like. Don't turn on your camera if you don't feel like. That is perfectly okay. Welcome. All right. So while we are still welcoming people, I'm going to introduce the association. So you know what is SEO Nerd Switzerland and who I am and all of this, right? Let me share my screen because I have a couple of slides, of course. Right. You see my slides? I don't see the chat, so I hope everything is all right. SEO Nerd Switzerland is an association that I co-founded with Sarah Mokansaye. If you joined us for other meetup, you might have seen her. Today, she can't be here, but she'll be here for the next meetup. We founded the association in 2019, so it's a couple of years back now. We've already organized like 27 events, including one event in person at Google headquarters in Zurich with the search relation team. That was really fun. And we are planning to do a couple more in-person events in Switzerland this year. But we'll publish everything in due time. We're still working on the schedule and the speakers and all of that. So just for you to know what's SEO Nerd Switzerland, we're here to help you kickstart and navigate your SEO career. We share knowledge, we share information that you can trust. So we carefully always choose and invite the speakers. So this is always some resources. We share resources and content that you can be sure this is good content. We are happy also to answer any kind of questions if, sometimes there are lots of information on internet and it can be difficult to know what you can trust and what you can't. So we are really happy to answer any questions. And we are open to everyone. Everyone can join our meetings. But as you can see, we like to give women a head start. And we are also really happy to welcome first-time speakers. So when we have a first-time speaker, we help them prepare the slides and we provide some feedback on a dry run just for them, to feel comfortable and hopefully then pitch their talks to other conferences. Right. We are lucky to have sponsors who support us. So we have two sponsors. The first is Leap. It's a web development agency based in Switzerland where Sarah works. Our second sponsor who is going to help us organize in-person events is 𝐈𝐴. 𝐈𝐴 is an all-round agency and it's characterized by high quality standards and ethics. And last sponsor, it's Work in SEO. It's a podcast in particular. It's also dedicated to help you navigate your career. There are like 12 podcast episodes that you can watch and that I host. Couple of more information. We have the next event. Next event, we welcome Deborah. Deborah is going to discuss how to bridge the gap between technical SEO and content SEO, make everyone talk together, and help everyone collaborate well. And so it's really a good talk if you are on the tech side or if you are on the content side, it's really a good talk to attend. And we are really, really happy to welcome Deborah in, just a month, actually. It's going so fast. If you want to watch our last meetups, we have a YouTube channel. I know that we need to speak about our YouTube channel more because not everyone knows about it. So I'm going to share it. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. You're so nice. And so here. The YouTube channel where you find the last meetup. There you go, in the chat. And now it's time for a speaker. I'm really happy to welcome Veruska. I really, really like her talks, her sense of humor. And if you know Women in Tech SEO, this is where I met Veruska. And Veruska, when she gives answers in the Slack channel, they are always very well detailed and structured, and she always provides like excellent information. And so I was like, I need to have her at some points at SEO Nerd Switzerland. And finally, she's here. So I'm really happy to have her. And I think we're ready. Let me check if anyone is waiting in the waiting room. I think we are ready to start the talk.
All right, I'm gonna take over then. So I'm gonna share my screen and hello everyone, welcome. Oh, I cannot share my screen easily.
Oh no.
Anyway, welcome and
there
thanks
you
for
go.
being here. So now I should be able to.
Yeah.
Let me see, share screen. Can you see my screen?
Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So this is me. My name is Veruska. Of course, I have a Russian name, but I'm 100% Italian. When I love this picture of me, but my hair now are completely a mess. So it's the same person now with just different hair, different color because I didn't have time. So, but it's me. So what I do, I'm a multilingual SEO and localization consultant, work on as a freelance for exactly 20 years this month. It's quite a while. And in this talk, I will share with you some information, or we will discuss about the importance of context in multilingual SEO and why it should be taken into consideration. Why I am here to talk about this? Because this is what I do on my daily job. I come from a background in sociology and sociolinguistics and semiotic, complemented by a master in data science. I've been working in NLP and SFL for pretty much 20 years. And I'm not your typical SEO person. I work at the intersection between SEO and localization. I manage processes, workflows, people, stakeholders. So anything that has to do with the internationalization and the conjunction, the interlapsing between SEO and localization, L10N, it's in my domain. So that's why I feel that this could be something that I have some experience in regard. So let's start straight on this. When a company wants to expand, if I ask you, what's the first thing that you would do if your company asks you to expand? And I'm quite sure that the very first thing, because that's what happens, it's the company saying, or you saying, okay, we have a bunch of content, a bunch of pages, let's translate everything that we have, because it's easier, because it's cost saving, and because it feels that it's something that is just like viable. You know, you have a bunch of content, a bunch of pages. What can happen if I translate in another language? The only thing that can happen is that I start ranking as people start seeing my content. The truth is that that's not necessarily true. And in reality, it's never true, because what works in one market might not work. Actually, I should have not used might. It doesn't work in another market. It doesn't work even if the markets share the same language. English British and English American is an example. Cultural behavior, cultural expectations, and also the context, which is the topic of this talk, are what affect people search online. So what you may think may work because it's working in your main market may not work when you expand into another one. That's because we need to always, when we want to expand, we need to focus on the idea of the context. What is context? Context is everything. In sociology, context is defined as every circumstance, condition, or background information that allows users, people, social groups, individuals to understand and interpret what is happening around them. And how these circumstances basically shape the reality, their specific reality in a specific place. So basically, context in sociology, and that's what we use, I use this framework every day in my job, is the setting that gives meaning to something for certain group of people. And when I say group of people, I mean can be group shaped by their language, by their love for food, by their love for something else, by their common experiences. So context is the basis when we talk about multilingual and when we talk about moving from one countries to 1, 2, 3, 4 infinite countries and expanding. The reason why context is important is quite easy to understand. You need to understand why they search something in a specific time frame and how what they are experiencing in that specific moment or overall as a social group affect what they are searching and how they search. And the reason being is that we are all affected by the circumstances around us, and we are all affected by what sometimes are called biases. Biases are not always bad. Biases are also the reason why we behave in a certain way and the reason why we search in a certain way. And biases, together with context, help us basically understanding the world and making it the most out of it in our own language. The secret is the second important part of understanding the context in markets that perhaps you don't know. It's search intent. And I hate this slide because it's very I don't know, weird. I don't like it, but still is there. It's search intent. If you are in SEO, you know what is search intent. Is the purpose behind a user search query. The reason why a user searches for something, their goal or their objective in searching for something. And when you combine search intent with context, basically it's a positive equation. Context shapes search intent and vice versa. I have an intent because my context, my circumstances are telling me to search for something, that I need something, that I want something, that I have a reason why I need to know this information, or I need to add this product, or I need to know where I stand in the world regarding this specific topic. There are two types of search intent. In SEO, tendentially, typically we tend to only look out for the explicit search intent, but in reality there are two, even more than two, explicit and implicit. The explicit are the traditional, classical SEO search intent: informational, navigational, transactional, commercial. I'm quite sure that each of you, whether you do multilingual, international, SEO in just one language, digital marketing, whatever you do, anyone working in marketing is familiar with the idea of search intent. Informational, people are looking for information on something. Navigational, they want to have information specific on comparison, for example. Transactional, they are looking for a specific product. Commercial, they are looking perhaps for a specific brand or a specific product or from a specific brand. The truth is that, as I explained a bit earlier, if we confine our experience only to explicit intent, we are missing out a huge chunk of opportunities when we expand to another market, because there is the implicit search intent that is actually the reason, the most important reason people search online, and for answers also not online. And these are just a few of the implicit search intent that one user may have. FOMO is pretty much clear to everyone. Everyone is doing something in a specific country. I am from that country. I want to do the same. It's I work a lot with travel, and it's very clear in there. When a destination becomes very popular in a certain market, everyone starts searching for that destination. Everyone wants to go there. Everyone wants to experience the same things that they have seen at the television, on the magazine, by influencers, on Instagram, whatever. FOMO is probably the biggest and even the easier. Then there's fear. Fear because if our actions are affected by our surrounding, and very often we focus on the bigger picture, but way more often we should focus on our small fears. What is affecting us as people? What are our social situation? What is how the environment is treating me, and how is threatening me? And that's when people go online and start searching for something. It's a huge driver when it comes to search online, because again, especially if you are part of a specific group and you start feeling threatened, or you start feeling fear of something that is happening and is shaping your world, you start searching online for answers, for solutions, for similar experience, for brands that gives you a feeling of comfort, that comfort you and can help overcome the situation. People search to be motivated, and this happens pretty much to each of us, and very often it's combined with FOMO. People search because something is happening in their environment. And this is something that we very, very rarely consider in SEO, because SEO sometimes, actually, I'd say always forget about real-time things, but the environment is one of the things that shape our search experience the most as individuals. If something is happening in a specific moment, we search not only for that thing that is happening, which can be news or whatever. We search also for other element correlated to what is happening in a specific moment, in a specific environment, specifically our environment, because it's close to us. Can be what's happening in our city, what's happening, I don't know, if you do, for example, CrossFit, what's happening in the CrossFit community, what's happening, and everything that surrounds this. So, and that's something that we always forget in SEO, but in multilingual SEO, it's changed the perception and change of the things that you should do and should not do quite a lot. And finally, biases. We all have our biases. I've already touched upon this slightly. Biases are not always bad. We tend to associate, psychology associate biases with something that blocks us, that actually limit ourselves. In sociology, biases are quite different, are the things that somehow make us stick with people similar to us, make us stick to certain types of products, make us basically help us understanding the world the way we want to see it, and the way it basically helps us decipher the world around us and shape the world around us. And we search for biases, whether it's bad or whether it's good. Biases are a strong driver when it comes to search online. If I want to reinforce my idea, bad or good, I search for theories or for products or for situations that reinforce my idea on something. I think, for example, I love sneakers. I think that pink sneakers are nice. So I'm starting to search for as many evidences possible to support my theory that pink sneakers are the best sneakers. So everyone should have pink sneakers. This is a bias. This is the way I see the world, and the way I see the world shape my way of searching, because I want to reinforce my ideas, basically. Of course, if the value of explicit intent can vary based on the type of query, the value of implicit intent in multilingual is way more higher. Tendentially, I put it medium high, but it's mostly high because it really targets the inner feeling of individuals and is strictly connected to their context from a cultural, psychological, and sociological context. Let me show you some examples of this, because the most important part of all this is understanding how to apply these principles and how these principles and how this theory can be applied in multilingual SEO. Especially when you have content from that you want to adapt to another market. The first thing that we do in SEO is start with keyword research, and that's where the fail happen quite often, almost always, because when we forget about all this cultural, all this substrate that permeate search intent and the users' behaviors in other markets, we tend to assimilate we tend to see the world in just one way. And in reality, we should be able to basically analyze the situation behind certain volumes and behind certain queries. And these are some examples that make you clarify with this. Sometimes it's a social issue. So when we have a page in English, we deal with social issues when we translate or localize in another language. This is Italy. And the research for iPhone 13 Pro Max is quite high. It's 135,000 searches per month, quite high. This is SEMrush, and it's telling me that people search because they want to buy. Happy day, I have a page, I write content, my company writes content about phone, I have a page about iPhone 13 Pro Max, I'm going to translate it because that's the right way to do it, because people are searching for it. It's a transactional keyword, people search because they want to buy. And it's a tool is telling me this, probably also SERP is telling me this. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to translate and trying to reach out people trying to buy iPhone 13 Pro Max. That's not really true. And that's when consideration that I've told you before, the analysis that we should always do when we go multilingual comes into place. This is in Italian. I'm going to translate for you. Italy is in one of the worst financial crises of all Europe, and the salaries are very low, are actually among the lowest in EMEA, and prices are increasing, both on food and everything else. So people don't have money to spend. The inflation is high, the people don't have money to spend. This means that it is true that people are searching for iPhone 13 Pro Max, but it may not be true that they are searching because they want to buy. They may search because they want to compare their financial power to what's on offer. They may want to decide, they may want to check whether they can afford the iPhone 13 or they should buy something else. They want to wait why and how their financial power at this moment can help them, is strong enough for them to buy that phone. Now, this, of course, we cannot stop here. We cannot just assume, okay, I know the context, so Italy is screwed up financially, so people don't buy, so I'm not going to translate. No, that's when more research is needed. But at a very basic level, this is telling us that A, people are searching for this, that's true. B, they may not be searching because they want to buy. C, the tool, is it really reliable? Can really be used to shape our multilingual strategy and in the globalization phase? Four, we need more time, we need more analysis, we need more research, we need more context to contextualize and to basically decide whether it's worth translating or not, or whether it's worth translating but changing the angle. That's one of the things that comes pretty much all the time. People not understanding why people search for something and how their search in a country different from their native language of the main website, is affected by the surrounding, by everything that surrounds them. And this is a strong implicit intent. In this case, people may search because they have fear. And at the same time, they may feel FOMO because they would like to buy their kind of phone, but can they afford it? Do they have to think about something else? Then there is another, and this is the fun part, the pop culture. When you work in a multinational, whether you are in-house or a freelancer, self-employed, you very often you work with people that know their culture, they know their language, they know what's happening in their country, but they don't know anything else. They don't know what's happening in other countries. So at a certain point, people may start seeing online a topic appearing continuously in a given market, and someone in brand or demand or even social reach out to you as an SEO person and says, we need to have content on this because everyone has content on this thing in, I don't know, France or in Spain. So we need to have this. This is an example, a very recent example in Spain. In Spain lately, there's been a huge debate that spread over pretty much all Mediterranean countries, at least Italy as well, France as well, probably didn't reach out much the Nordic countries, but the Mediterranean wave was affected by what happened. So there was this inflation of content from Spanish creators, magazines, companies, brands, everyone about Casio watches. So you go, and people not aware of what was happening started. I had the same experience. I had something coming to me and says, oh, what's happening? We need to have content on this. And I knew what was happening, so it wasn't an issue. But if I didn't know, I would have probably or may have fell into the trap. So a lot of content about Casio watches. So you go on search, SEMrush or any other tool, search for Reloj Casio in Spanish, Spain, and you see that they have quite a lot of volume. So you just, again, this is informational. This is also transactional. people search for information to buy something, I can squeeze my product. I can squeeze something in there. I can be present in this market with information that people are searching for. I'm gonna do it. And that's where I win over everyone in my company. Nope. The reason why people were inflating the Spanish everything and the Mediterranean landscape with everything about the 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐴 watches just casually happened at the beginning of February, end of January, for a very specific reason. This woman wrote a song about that guy mentioning the 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐴 watches. So it has nothing to do with people wanting to buy this kind of watch. So the reason why things are starting to appear about 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐴 watches on SERP is because basically she wrote a song about him. The song went viral. People started to react, memes, articles, everything. But the truth is that none of these articles were meant to convert. All of these articles were meant to do real-time marketing. So the SEO value will fade over time. What will remain is the brand value. But people not knowing that something like so peculiar and so attached to a specific moment, to a specific country, to a specific two people was affecting at that time the searches. So a company or someone that is not aware, even an SEO person that is just working, doing something that they are not supposed to do because it's not their domain, not knowing what's happening in a country, it's easy to mislead. It's easy to mistake that what's happening has nothing to do with transactional, with conversion, and everything to do with pop culture and awareness, brand awareness. It's the same thing that this is another very, very peculiar example. Especially when we go to specific markets like Japan, South Korea, everything that is out of our Western mindset, things starts getting more complicated, and not just because of the language, which requires a different skill, different degree of skills and knowledge, but also because the culture is completely different. Whether you can rectify a mistake that you make when you translate from English to French, or from English to Italian, from English to Germany, because it's not the same culture, but somehow there are some similarities. So it's perceived like sometimes as less bad. When you go to countries that are completely different culturally, language-wise, everything-wise, it's hard to rectify, and it's usually impossible. And in a situation like this, sometimes it's basically the same things that happened in Spain with Shakira, Piqué, and the 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐴 watches. But in this case, there is a cultural element. It's not just brand or something. So if you go on SEMrush, you see that the word, this is the word daengi in Hangul, in Korean. Daengi is basically an hair ribbon that in the Joseon period, in South Korean Joseon period, women used to wear on their hair. And it's something that it's highly praised in the country. It's a symbol of loyalty. It's a symbol of beauty. It has a lot of different meanings. And a few years back, not many years ago, a few years back, suddenly content started to appear from companies based in South Korea, South Korean companies, and international companies wanting to tackle the market about the daengi. There was a reason why, but nobody knew why. So international companies started to chase after content created without knowing why, and without knowing the reason why, and without knowing why people were searching, and without knowing why these daengi were everywhere. A lot of companies were not, most of the companies were not aware about the cultural significance of the daengi. They were not aware of the importance of this symbol for women and for the society as a whole. So went on SEMrush again, you see that daengi has quite decent volume and informational intent. It's not just informational. Informational can always mean transactional. So a lot of companies said, we are going to produce content about this in Korean, and we will squeeze our air products in, because it makes sense. So if they are searching for something for their air, if I squeeze my product in, I can get some brand awareness and I can get some conversion. Once again, no. The reason why people were searching is because there was this very famous TV series. This is a screenshot from Naver. There was this very famous TV series called Squid Game. And one of the actresses, the main actress, won an award for this. And she made a strong cultural statement during the award ceremony. She wore the daengi together with a traditional Korean dress. So it has nothing to do with people searching because they feel that they want to embellish their hair. People were searching in that specific moment in time because they wanted to see how their popular actress showed the daengi and the traditional hanbok to the world. And at the same time, the level, there was this peak, and then the interest started to fade. And those amount of visits and search that you get every month have nothing to do with buying the daengi. And it's all about the cultural awareness of something that is actually disappearing from the Korean culture. So there is a lot of heaviness in this keyword. And if you don't know the context and why this is happening, and you want to tackle this topic in this very peculiar market, the chances that you are failing are high. The chances that you are wasting money, time, resources are even higher. The chance that your brand won't succeed in any way, both conversion-wise, awareness-wise, are even higher. This is the daengi I was supposed to show you earlier, and she wore during the award. So how do we overcome this? First of all, we need to know our audience, and we need to understand that the audience varies by market. The Italian audience is not the same as the Spanish audience. The Swedish audience is not the same as the Norway audience, and they are all different, not only among each other, but also they are different from the main market. Let's say your company is from the US, you cannot expect that the audience, the American audience, is the same as your local audience. Knowing the audience is crucial, and it's not just knowing, having the strange and very irrational ideas of persona. It's really knowing the people, the reason why they are searching, their context, their behaviors, their fun points. Why do they search in a certain way? What's their issue? And how my product, my service, my content can help them overcome this situation, and most of all, can really overcome this situation. Am I really a fit for this market with the content that I have, or should I go another way and start original content, original pages, original services just for that market? Knowing the audience, not as persona, marketing personas, but really who are the real people, and why the search is crucial to succeed, even if it doesn't look like something SEO should be aware of. It is essential, especially today in a post-pandemic era, when basically people weight their experience more than the product or the service that they receive. Customer experience is the main thing today, and SEO is here to serve a better customer experience. Be creative. Not all market reacts to the content at the same way, and not all the market reacts to the same content at the same way. Some markets prefer long-form content with no visual. Thinking about Japan, a block of text, a lot of information, reviews, everything that is really straightforward and give them information, detailed information about what they're buying and what they are consuming. is highly appreciated. You go to a more visual Nordic countries, for example, Finland, it's a lot of beautiful images, creative copy. Then there is some other countries that are more up for podcasts, others for videos, and also the topic that you deal with allows and should be treated with creativity. And creativity, we miss this point in SEO, but SEO is extremely creative. It's really depending on the topic that you are targeting and the markets that you want to reach. So it's being creative in terms of format and also in terms of content. And we come back to the previous point. If you know your target audience, you know what type of content and what topics they like in your specific market. Use data. Data inform us. I'm a huge data nerd. So for me, it's actually at the top of the list is having data, clear data on not just where my people, but also market research, having a database of what's happening, having real-time information on what is happening in a certain moment, in a certain place, and how this, and combine all this data to create a strategy that usually, and should actually, usually in my specific case, for example, deviates highly from the source strategy, from the put in place that by the main website. In my case, I work with different markets, so the data helps me shaping different strategies for the different market. And when I say data, I know that if you do SEO, the first thing that you are thinking is that volumes, search console, analytics, it's way more than this. It's data about, it's quantitative data about conversion, but also qualitative data about the people, about the market, and it has everything. It has nothing to do with competitors. It's more understanding a complex ecosystem in a specific market that is the combination of multiple factors. So in multilingual, in international SEO and marketing, there's no compartments, all work together. So you have to have data from different sources, because that's the only way you can inform your strategy the best way possible. And then, of course, connected to this is measure, reiterate, adjust. We have all been there. I've been there, made a lot of mistakes because I didn't get at first when I started. And then measure what's happening, measure how your content works and how they are performing is crucial, because it's easy. When you decide to go, for example, for a one-on-one translation from, let's say, English to another language, you can easily check the return on investment. And if you can prove that the return on investments on the original content that you have created just for that specific market are performing better than the translation, you are way ahead of your game, because you have something that you can show that is bringing in money, awareness, whatever it's your conversion goal. So measure, reiterate, and reiterate is not just, okay, replicate the same thing over and over. Reiterate, adjusting. So meaning that, okay, I found that this worked in this specific moment because it captured that specific issues, that specific search issue in that specific country. What happens if I tweak it a little bit, adding another set of data that helps me understanding more if, for example, in a specific region within a specific country, this may work as well, or it needs to be changed because habits are different. So measure, reiterate, adjust along the way is critical to succeed. And with that being said, I think I've talked even too much and I'm done. And I'm happy to answer to every question, anything that you may have.
Thank you, Veruska. Thanks a lot. That was awesome. And now I'm going to do something very important for everyone to feel comfortable if you want to ask questions.